Hey everybody, welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. I'm joined once again with my good friend Dave Baker. Hey Dave, how you doing?
Yo, thank you for having me, Chris.
You are so welcome. This is the musical episode. We have to both sing everything that we say. Um, so this is the comics gene pool episode of the show. People have the hashtag my comics DNA or whatever that they put out there. And I wanted to make it a little saucier. So I called it the gene pool. Sounds kind of gross.
A gene pool,
Um,
baby.
yeah. But, I like to have people come on and talk about things that influence them, influence their style, influence the way they draw or write, or just things that they're just psyched about. And I know a bit about you. You're a huge Ditko fan. You're a huge Hergé fan. You
Yep.
love them Charlton books.
Yep.
Um,
All true. All true.
I'll, and when you when you when I first asked you what you wanted to do, you had brought up these Doug Wildey Johnny Quest books.
Yeah.
Uh, and the funny thing is I just recorded an episode with James Coates, who also picked the Doug Wildey Johnny Quest books.
Dude, great
Uh,
minds. Great minds.
obviously.
I have a
Um,
giant Doug Wildey retailer exclusive 1984, 5, 6, whenever the fuck the book was, published by Kamiko, Johnny Quest poster right there.
Dude.
Yeah.
And it also came up, I talked to Jim Rugg the other day, and it also came up when I was talking to him, Doug Wildey did. And we talked about him for a second. I mean, there's always holes and gaps that I'm just baffled that I miss in my journey of comics. I mean, I've been doing this for, going on, I don't know, 35 years at this point, digging into comics,
Yeah. Yeah.
And somehow I missed him completely. And all of a
Really?
sudden,
You never watched Johnny Quest or anything?
no, I've seen Johnny Quest, but I didn't know who Doug Wildey was. I had no idea.
Oh, interesting.
No clue. And then I'm about to do an episode with the Alex Toth Genius Animated book.
Yeah.
And of course, I opened it to read it, and the very first page talks about Doug Wildey.
Yeah.
So that was a trip. Just real quick, why do you love that series? Because we're not going to talk about that one today, but I want to give you a second to talk about it because you're passionate about it. Why did you love that series so much?
Specifically the Johnny Quest classics or just the Kamiko book
Yeah,
period? The classics book,
yeah,
I think. So if anybody doesn't know, there's 2 Johnny Quest books that Kamiko published in the late 80s. The first one is just Johnny Quest, which is written by William Messner Loebs, illustrated by Mark Hempel, Wendy Peeney, Steve Rude. A bunch of people draw it, but it's mostly Mark Hempel. That comic kind of picks up after the end of the show and is supposedly in continuity with it, and it was originally supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries or 5-issue miniseries, and then it ran for 34, 36 issues. It's
oh wow,
purely off of the strength of our boy William Messner Loebs. He really, which is funny because he's not was not a Johnny Quest fan. He had never seen the show, didn't really like it. But he just really understood those characters to a level and degree that I don't think many people have before or since. And they're really simple, solid one-off stories that are the best version of adventure stuff when it's not problematic.
right, yeah,
And so because of the success of the primary book, the Kamiko guys, the 2 guys who founded the company, went to Doug Wildey, who had at that point only done some covers and promotional images for the launch of the book, the main book, and asked him, hey, would you be interested in making comic book versions of some of the seminal episodes of the show that you worked on? Like, you could pick 3 of your favorite episodes and just turn those into, a comic. And thankfully he did. The reason I like that book so much is because you know, there's a lot of Wildy work out there, but it's very disparate and very spread out. And he's 8 pages here in the Harlan Ellison special, you know, that thing he was trying to turn into a not Outer Limits TV show. And there's, you know, two issues of Rawhide Kid and, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's a couple issues of our Man at War, or whatever the Sergeant Rock book is. He did a couple issues of that. Like, there's all this stuff that he did, but there's not like a body of work other than Rio, his Western book, which I love. And Rio was actually recently collected, finally, after years and years and years, with an unpublished story in it too, which is really cool.
So I understand.
The reason I like that book is the reason I like his Johnny Quest stuff so much is because the show Johnny Quest is my favorite fucking thing ever. I love it so much. And I think it's 10 times better than it has any right to be. But you can feel when Doug Wildey is there and when Doug Wildey gets pushed to the side a little bit and they're doing more of a comedy one, or they're doing more of one that he didn't get to fully oversee.
Sure.
And so that book is all of the things I love about Quest, but all of the pure Doug Wildey, brushy, illustrative, dynamic storytelling, naturalistic anatomy, beautiful cinematography, you know,
Sure.
for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I just love those issues, and I think that he was just an unsung master. And I'm definitely not biased because he lived in Tucson.
Where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to give you like just a second to talk about that because I mean, you dropped some nuggets that I hadn't heard before, and I knew you would have something to say about it.
Yeah, I love that guy. I love that guy. I love his cantankerous, grumpy old man legend. You know, everybody's got a Doug Wildey story.
Huh?
Oh yeah, he was a sharp-tongued individual, and I
no wonder
respect
he and Toth got along, right?
I don't think they got along. I know that they liked
well,
each other.
That's how they got along, by not getting along.
Yeah, totally. But also, like everyone else, I think they had a big falling out at one point because I don't think you can be friends with Alex Toth. Like, I just don't think that, you know, his neuroses just wouldn't let him accept love.
Right.
Yeah. But Wildey was studio mates with 2 other illustrators I really like. Dave Stevens, the creator of The Rocketeer, and Bill. Oh God, what's his name? The production designer of Masters of the Universe. He designed all the dinosaurs for Jurassic Park.
Oh, William Stout.
Yeah, Bill Stout. He was. They were all William Stout. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've stood 6 feet away from him once, so I can call him Bill.
You know what? That's funny that you say that. I just went to Heroes Con and was talking to him for a while, and I took a very long shuttle, just he and I together, to the airport that kind of got lost. So we had a lot of extra time, just he and I, to talk. And he invited me to come to his what's it called? Life drawing sessions.
When the fuck does he do those? I want to go there.
We'll talk.
I want to go to that so badly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know.
There's a number on the card that he gave me. There's an address that he hand wrote and a time and all that. But there is a number on it, and I called it, and it was for like the Reseda like medical center or something like that. And I was like, oh man, either these are really old cards or I'm being played here. So I haven't gone to it, and I can't get in contact with him, but he's got the time and the address. So I'm just gonna go. And
dude, literally, when you go, I want to go with you, like 100%. Let me be your date. I want to go.
Yeah. Tom Neely's gonna go too. So
there's just gonna be like 60 of us. We're gonna. Like,
I know, we're just gonna roll in. Every comic artist in Los Angeles is gonna roll in.
Yeah. We love you, Bill Stout. Tell us the one about the dinosaurs again, Bill.
Shit. You draw Tarman?
Yeah, Tarman. Yeah.
I'm a big Dan O'Bannon fan. What Dan stories do you have, Bill?
Anyway, so we didn't go with the Wiley Johnny Quest books. You went with Casanova, issue number 1.
Yes.
I think this is the first modern book that anybody's picked on here. I think, maybe I could be wrong, Modern as in like in the last, 20 years.
Yeah.
Because this is an 18-year-old book at this point, I guess.
Oh my God, it's 18 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, it was 2006. So
Jeez,
it's 17 years old, right? I'm
dude.
math. I'm an
I don't want to
artist,
hear
not a
that. I don't want to
mathematician.
fucking hear that.
No. I know. It's sick. It's disgusting. And then when I do the math, I was still, not a kid then. Like I should have been
Right.
I was 29 years old. Yeah, so Casanova by Matt Fraction and Gabriel Ba. How do you want to go about this? Should we flip through it and talk about what's going on in it, or do you want to just like start off by telling me like what you love about this thing so much?
Yeah, let's do both. I'll start off by giving the pitch and then talking about why I like it, and then we can go through it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the book, a little background on the book. So now he's one of the biggest writers in comics and also co-showrunner of the Godzilla TV show on Apple Plus. But
Right.
back then, Matt Fraction had a design firm. He was he was one of the founding members of a design firm, and he was unhappy. And he was like, I want to not do this. I want to not deal with clients. I want to make comics. And so he started submitting and did some independent books, like the book Last of the Independents, which is also a fun kind of crime noir book that AIT Planet Lar put out. And then he put out a couple things at Image, one of them being Five Fists of Science, which is kind of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but with historical figures type book, steampunk book. And then he did a book called Annotated Mantooth, which is a very calculated. Hellboy is really big right now. I'm going to do Hellboy as a Bigfoot.
Okay.
And it didn't really work. And then he was pitching around to some Marvel and DC editors, and the process was what the process was. You don't.
Yeah.
You're not given the keys to the kingdom immediately.
No, if you can even get a hold of them.
Yeah, for real. And so Eric Stevenson, current and at the time publisher of Image, reached out to Fraction and was like, hey, we're doing this new initiative. We want to do 16-page comics with a price tag of $199. And we're going to have 4 books in the line. And I think if you're interested, I think you might be a good candidate to be one of them. And so Fraction and Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon put their brains together and we're like, okay, let's do this. And so the kind of spiritual background of the book is that after many unsuccessful pitches, he was like, I want to make something that is the most me thing I've ever made. And all the interviews from this time, he always says, most people grew up loving heroes in capes. I love men in suits. And so this book is kind of a distillation of all of the tropes and trappings of spy genre fiction in the same way or similarly to my book, Halloween Boy, which is a distillation and a love letter to all the tropes of pulp heroes. So Casanova Quinn is a spy from Dimension 919 who his father runs a extra military a corporation called Empire that is somewhat similar to how S.H.I.E.L.D. functions in the Marvel universe. And the inciting incident for the story is that this 919 dimension, Casanova Quinn, his sister dies, and that version of him is abducted into another dimension by ostensibly the Red Skull of dimension, and he's going to be used to infiltrate this alternate dimensional version of his dad's S.H.I.E.L.D.-esque organization and take it down from the inside, because the version that we're following is the evil, in air quotes, Casanova Quinn. And in this dimension that he gets abducted to, his sister survived and he died. So every episode of every issue of the book is Casanova Quinn going on a mission, being sent to his father, Cornelius Quinn, who's basically the Nick Fury of this Empire organization. And it's a one and done adventure, very dense, 16 pages. and he's over the course of the book realizing, I know I was sent here to destroy all this stuff, but like these guys, I kind of like them, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to be a bad guy anymore. I want to be a
Yeah.
hero now. I don't want to be a bad guy. So the book is this kind of deconstruction, postmodernist look at spy fiction, subverting all of the tropes of spy fiction. One of the examples, just a simple example, being like there's a point where he does a cool James Bond thing and like jumps out of a helicarrier, and then like the like thought captions are like, I should say something cool and pithy here,
Yeah.
but I got nothing. Fuck. Whatever. I'll get him next time. And then he like teleports away. And like that's the kind of, it has a very unique sense of humor. It has a great viewpoint on spy fiction and the tropes of spy fiction and how to contemporize them. And it also metatextually, the book itself is about working in comics. It's about the history of comics. It's about loving comics and comics not always loving you. And it's about making that transition, you know, metaphorically for Fraction, from being this person who's one of the founders of this design firm into being a freelancer and working in this industry that's almost not a fucking industry.
Right.
Yeah. So I love it. It's like my favorite thing ever, aside from Johnny Quest and Buckaroo Banzai. And I love it. I love it so much. I have every printing of the single issues. I have every printing of the trades. I have the hardcovers, the soft covers, multiple editions of the hardcovers and soft covers. I got the original Image one here, which is all, you know, just single tone like you're showcasing there. Before it was recolored for the Marvel Icon editions. I even have The Future of Comics, The Future of Men, Matt Fraction's Casanova by Jeff Clock, a dissertation written on Casanova.
Wow.
And yeah, so I love Casanova, and I think its influence on me and my work is not particularly subtle.
Well, I mean, just visually right away, you can tell with the spot coloring. You said that you did Halloween Boy to save time with the spot coloring, but I'm sure there's not entirely a coincidence that that was a direction that you went.
100%, 100%.
Because
And in fact, I've actually worked with this colorist since, Chris Peters. Not this colorist. All this stuff was toned by Gabriel Ba. But
right.
the fully colored Redux edition that was published by Marvel after the initial 14-issue run ran aground, Chris Peters worked with Nicole on Shadow of the Batgirl for DC Comics, which I was supremely jealous by. I was like, God damn it.
Those colors were great.
You're working with my favorite colorist. I hate you. And then later I was pitching a different book, which currently has not gone, but also you never know. It could come back from the dead.
No.
Yes. And Chris colored a bunch of sample pages in that that I drew.
So the book kind of starts out. So this is drawn by Gabriel Ba. Now, yes. Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon, they're Brazilian twins, correct?
Yes.
Which, knowing really not much about either of them, I've met them, but I don't really know much of their work. I don't think I have anything. I have an issue of Casanova, but it's from the second series, I think.
Yeah.
And I just picked it up randomly, and so it's out of context for me a bit, so I never really got into it. But Gabriel Ba drew this issue. Did Fabio Moon draw another issue or something?
They alternate arcs. So
I see.
So the book is about twins, Zephyr Quinn and Casanova Quinn. Oh my gosh. And so the first arc, is it Luxuria? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Luxuria is drawn by Gabriel Ba, and then the second arc, Gula, is drawn by Fabio Moon. The third arc, Avaricia, is drawn by Gabriel Ba. And I would like more, please.
Yeah. They're
Oh no, there is a fourth arc. There's a fourth arc. Acedia is the fourth arc, and that one is drawn by Fabio Moon. But you know, the joke still plays. There's supposed to be 7. There's supposed to be 7 miniseries. I still just I just want the last 3, because basically the idea is that the first 3 miniseries are a trilogy, and then the 4th arc is 2 books. It's like double-sized the length, and it's a standalone adventure that provides context into both going forward and the stuff in the past. And it's the one where Casanova Quinn moves to Hollywood. And then the last 3 supposedly are a trilogy as well. But I don't know what they're about. Come on, Fraction. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. Quit show running Godzilla shows and finish Casanova, lazy ass.
So that's what I'm saying. One of the things I would like to point out about this page is that
Yes.
the design of the suit that Casanova Quinn is wearing in this espionageal assault on this mansion is ostensibly just the Danger Diabolique costume, who's an Italian super spy.
Yep, I kind of noticed that. This, the establishing shot with the mansion is great. This staircase, I don't know why, but I just keep looking at it. Is such a great drawing.
Yeah.
And the way that he is sort of balances this line between cartooning and, sort of more traditional figure drawing is just, his style is fantastic.
Yeah, the other thing that's really nice is that because this book is 16 pages and it's hyper dense, it requires a lot of captions, and I normally get real grumpy when people use captions to just tell you the story. Like that's a trope in Big 2 comics, is like, and then I was looking out over the city, and the city wept because it had just been invaded by aliens, but I knew that I was going to invade those aliens. Like, that thing. Like, I really don't like that thing. But the way
then I'm not going to show you my new book. It's not exactly like that, but there are a lot of captions.
For me, my perspective on that is that it is a tool that absolutely can be used well. The issue that I have is that most people don't.
Right.
It's like anything. It's like slow motion is great. In a Zack Snyder movie, there's just too much of it. There's just too much.
Yeah, and also I just don't like it when writers are and artists aren't, communicating, or I guess it would have been in the script. So it starts with the writer on most things. If it's a team, where they are explaining exactly what we're looking at in the image, and
I believe that's the Claremontian paradigm, where the characters are looking out over the city, and then there's a thought balloon that says, man, this city really has changed. And then there's a caption that says, Nightcrawler loves to look out at the city.
Yeah, exactly. Now that drives me crazy. So we start out where he is sort of hired.
He's been sent there. He's been hired to send there to rescue this woman, and we don't know who the woman is.
Well, he thinks that it's a ruby, a physical ruby, right? And it turns out that it's a woman, right?
Yes.
And as we go along, we sort of quickly realize that she's not just a woman; she's a kind of an android, right?
Yes.
And so he pulls her out, but the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of characters are here waiting to stop him.
Buck McShane is the version of Dum Dum Dugan that is in this universe.
With the hat and everything.
Yeah, and similarly to what I was just telling you in our previous episode about the reason behind Halloween Boy having some influence with the Phantom, Casanova started as a pitch to Marvel for a Dominic Fortune Jr. series. And it's pretty. Not only is it apparent that, like, of course you're going to put a Nick Fury and a Dum Dum Dugan-esque character in a spy story in comics, but also, like, at one point it's very apparent that he was trying to do, like, Fabula Berserko, who we're going to get to in a minute, is his version of MODOK,
Yes. Yeah, and Halloween Boy has a version of MODOK in it, sort of.
Sort of.
I would say.
Yeah, that's funny. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, I could see that. Sure. Yeah, there's
Also,
a character.
Kool-Aid Man.
Fuck you. There's a character called Frankenoid, who is a giant Frankenstein's monster head with 4 arms and legs, and he is basically Halloween Boy's sidekick, who was a part of a war many moons ago that Halloween Boy fought in, and that was kind of like the clone army to Star Wars, where there were all these Frankenoids that were produced to fight this war, and our boy Halloween Boy's taken one of them in and let him hatch, molt, whatever. So now there's all these little tiny Frankenoids running around.
Yeah, I love it. It's such a bizarre thing, just sort of happening in the background. I love it so much.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how you build a world,
Yeah,
just have stuff happening. It doesn't have to have a real reason. Maybe it does, and I haven't read the 5th issue, but
no, it definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't. No.
I love it even more.
Yeah.
So he's kind of caught in this spot, and he's like, I'll take her out. Nobody move. Well, they just blow her head off. They don't care. They want him to come in, right? Because turns out his sister, who is, the good one in the family, went into the family business, whereas he did not, has died.
R.I.P. Zephyr from that dimension.
Yeah. And Pops and he are not friends.
Also, can we point out the formalist stuff that Fraction and Ba are already doing, where all of these word balloons don't have text in them because we know, we get it, we understand what's happening. We don't need to actually see the dialogue, and also it reflects the mental state of Cass. He's in mourning. It's that, strapping the camera to someone's chest and having them walk down the street moment.
Yeah, it's the ringing in their ears or whatever. Yeah, that's great. That's a great technique or device. So now they introduced this sort of nurse character. What is he going in here to do? Has he got another score he's trying to get?
Yeah, he's got another score or something. I don't remember why he's going in there, but he meets this nurse, and they start hooking up, and then he uses this this dimensional hopping device, and he steals some of Buck McShane's teeth, and so he has to go to a place.
That's right. She's at a dent. She's
at a dentist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
and then this is not the SHIELD hovercraft.
Definitely not. No, it's a casino, bro. It's a casino. Come on.
Yes, that's right. It's a casino.
Yeah. No, it's not a SHIELD helicarrier. How dare you?
And this Fabula Berserko character that he runs into here is sort of it is how do they describe him? He's a like big mutant brain. Yeah, 3 even. I heard he's 3 monks that practice some form of occult Zen for so long that they fuse together in a wad. He calls them a wad.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic design.
Yeah, I completely agree. As someone who loves putting heads on heads, and drawing giant heads, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, like my whole career has just been trying to corner the market on weird, and I'm 100% behind this design.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's sort of like a MODOK character too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the actual way it plays out in the narrative, it's so different, but you can just see the bones that, like, in a version of this story that was MODOK,
Sure. Yeah. They're sort of looking into each other's souls here, playing this game of who can mentally break the person first.
Yeah, astral Zen karate or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see that Casanova has got just like spiders in his soul.
The other thing I think that's worth mentioning here is the protagonist of the series, because metatextually the series is about comics, right? And the spy industry isn't just a metaphor for working in comics. And so there's all of these historical comics references and also what Fraction was experiencing as his career was moving forward directly influences and impacts the book in very interesting ways, I think.
That's really cool. It's cool to hear you say that, because having not had that context, I didn't pick up on that at all. But now I see what you're saying.
Especially, like, do you recognize who the main character is supposed to be drawn as? Because he's drawn as a cartoonist. It's a stylized version of him, but it's a specific
Is it
person.
Paul Pope or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that either. And then they said that in an interview once, and I was like, oh, it totally is Paul Pope. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is why it's so maddening that Russell Brand was at one point going to play him in a movie, and I was like, no, Russell Brand? No.
No.
Never.
No, I don't know who you would get, but not him.
Not him.
And especially not now.
Yeah, definitely not now.
That the monks trapped into the single being is sort of you pull in some multiple monks in Halloween Boy too, which I thought was that was like, oh yeah, now I see where he's influenced by this book.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, like, Halloween Boy has a bunch of knives that are sentient and they're imbued with the spirits of 6 monks who have devoted themselves to protecting this village. And at one point, Halloween Boy must have saved the village or done something good because the people of the village have given him the knives. And so the monks have now sworn fealty to Halloween Boy, and he can control them and they do stuff for him. And yeah.
So he's bested in this game.
Yeah, Fabula Berserko. More like Fabula not winning at mental karate, though.
Yeah, and he's not happy about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
This character is really interesting because it doesn't jive with the rest of his cartooning for some reason to me. It's like almost like a different, it's got like James Heronisms in it. Which is funny because this is well before James Heron, I think, was doing anything in 2006. I mean, it was anywhere, but obviously there's crossover of their gene pools. Could you say?
Yeah, totally.
They're pulling from some sort of similar place.
Yeah.
So here he's got this tooth, and he's presenting it. Why is he showing it off right now?
He basically makes a deal with Fabula Berserko, and he's like, I'm gonna, to get out of here, I'll give you the fucking Buck McShane tooth, and because Fabula Berserko wants to use it to make a clone army.
Oh, right. And Fabula is a sore loser and is not going to let him out alive because he won.
Exactly.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
And here's this moment that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I should say something important here, or something interesting at least. Maybe something cool or just nihilistic.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Yeah, that's great. And this almost like Kirby device too, even with it's got like the Kirby crackle
and
the
Kirby crackle on it.
Yeah.
I love the way that the captions are handled though, because even in those thought balloon captions right there, like that's fine. If the whole book was that, okay, whatever. That's a perfectly fine way to do it. But the fact that they choose to have blank spaces on the page, small heads that are like turning to the audience and speaking directly to them, the fact that the captions aren't locked directly to the protagonist, they come from multiple perspectives, they give you world building stuff, or there's just like pithy dialogue from the characters about their inner thoughts or monologue. It's such a formally inventive way that of telling this type of story where it's one of the tropes of spy fiction is who can you trust? Who has what are the intentions of the characters in these stories? Like Ronin is a story just about like motherfuckers pointing guns at one another and not being able to trust each other. And so for those tropes to be subverted by we, the audience, have an omniscient perspective on the narrative and are hearing the inner thoughts and know where all of the characters are emotionally in their pecking order is really like it's a brilliant way to kind of cut the knees out from the genre, which then creates a narrative box to break out of, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So here he is sort of uses the box to shift back to the nurses. He jumps out of this, helicopter and shift and kind of transports himself to the nurses' house, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, back to her place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
And then
his like catchphrase. He gets there. He's all rattled. She reveals that he's been gone for 6 days, and then he's like, "Oh, I've been gone for 6 days. What the fuck? Give me those drugs. I want to get real abstract." And I was like, ah,
yeah, gets seriously abstract. Yep.
so good, so good.
Cool hover motorcycle design.
Yeah. Fucking
So he's
Gabriel Ba is so good at drawing complex things in a simple way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only a few artists who can really kind of do that.
And this is, he's kind of going on a party binge, and then he gets kidnapped from his dimension by this character, Newman Zeno, who is the Red Skull / Baron von Strucker, whatever the archetypal, Blofeld, whatever the archetypal evil dude is. And he runs the counter agency to Empire, which is called Waste, which is definitely not Hydra.
Nope.
And he's explaining to our boy Cass, gonna have you work as a double agent, gonna go in there. I've been kidnapping all these other, I've been kidnapping all these other alternate versions of you, and they don't work, baby. It's all you.
Yeah, he's just keeping him in a Bacta tank.
I love it.
I always love when stories have these like little heads with the text with them. I mean, they're really pulling out not all the stops, but tasteful storytelling devices in this.
Yeah, and I love the fact that at one point Eric Stevenson shows up in the book, and like,
oh really?
Yeah, I think it's issue 2 or 3 of the first arc. I kind of don't remember which one, but Eric Stevenson gives his head is in one of them, and he's like, I don't know if we should publish this, guys, but all right, whatever. Yeah, I think they had to change that for the Marvel ones. I think they changed it to Tom Brevoort for the Marvel ones, maybe. I kind of don't remember now, but Eric Stevenson does show up as one of those talking heads at one point.
Was he literally called Eric Stevenson?
Oh, it's literally Eric Stevenson. Yes.
That's great. Okay, so he's sort of telling him his plan and how his sister is alive in this dimension.
Yeah.
It's a pretty saucy sister there.
Yep.
So here she is. This is her wearing the Diablo costume. Yep. And then
before we keep going on the plot stuff, look at the shoulder drawing. Look at that shoulder, panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That shoulder drawing is like, who chooses to draw a shoulder that way? It's so fucking cool. It's so expressionistic and so emotional, and like, yeah, it just, the nape, is that called the nape of a neck?
Yep.
Yeah. God, I love the feeling of the world that they all made. I know that that's somewhat abstract, no pun intended, but like, it's just, anytime I open this book, I get so excited to draw, because I just can feel the fuck it kitchen sink. I'm going to put everything I care about into this book, because this literally would be my only one shot. It's an ongoing series. I am nobody. If this doesn't work, at least I'll fail on my own goddamn terms. And I just love that approach of like
that. Yeah, that's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm only in the script phase and the design phase of it, but that's literally what I'm doing right now too. Just throwing it all at it,
Yeah.
Also, it's just sort of to get that out of my system so I can do a more serious book after that's going to require me to do a lot of research. And so I just want to like vomit out the all the ideas, you know,
Right.
and so I can move on and get it out of my head. But yeah, no, I absolutely know what you're saying with this. And so let's see here. There's a meeting with you know, his organization here, right?
Waste. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so
Dirty Newman.
don't fuck it up. That's the plan. How do we start?
Yep. So good.
And then we're back at the very beginning because he now this is another universe, or is it
It's another dimension. Yeah.
it's another dimension and back in time. So he's allowed to do it again. This time he is not wearing the outfit, and he, you know, knows where he went wrong this time.
Yeah. And
basically just pulls the pulls the disc. I love it, to show you you know, the times. iPhone wouldn't have been invented for another year.
Gosh. It's fun without discs, you know?
Yeah.
Like or tape. I kind of like tape too, of like,
yeah.
You know, like
Uh-huh.
it's a weird dimension where there's a 3-headed fucking monk, like, or 2-headed monk, whatever the fuck he is. Like,
Yeah.
a 2-headed monk that's very quickly going to be a 2-headed monk with the brain of a sex doll. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
So he's able to get out of there without the other ones turning on. Well, no, they did turn on. We just missed that. We just skipped that panel.
Yeah.
And when he gets out, this guy's there instead.
Yeah. Fabula. Yeah.
Fabula, yeah. And he just like pummels him.
Yep.
Pummels him. Punches right through his middle face.
And also look at the way that he's drawing your eye to that hand. He's dropping blacks and the spot color behind it, keeping it pure white, and then putting the spot color all over the figures in order to draw your eye directly to it. Like,
yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, he saves. I mean, you know, he's doing a lot of intricate techniques with the spot color on and laying it out in a lot of areas, but you know, definitely he saved the burying them in the spot color and in the light for that. And you know, allowing your eye to rest too with silhouettes and things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because because there's a lot coming up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action coming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Of like he's so good at making complex stuff simplified, where my instinct is to be like, I draw in a simple style, but I'll make everything super complicated.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you that about Halloween Boy too. I'm surprised you didn't hand letter it just to torture yourself.
Right. Yeah. But why would I hand letter it when I can use Nicole's handwriting?
Is that what it is? It's Nicole's writing?
It's Nicole. It's a font made of Nicole's handwriting.
Yeah. I could tell it wasn't just a regular font. I think
don't hand letter it. That's
I'm also doing it on 19 by 24.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Not because I just love torture.
But a little bit. A little bit because you love torture.
I just love the way when it reduces. It just tightens everything up so much better. And also I can put my whole arm into the drawing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
As much as I'm admonishing you and saying don't do it, I also have been like, I really want to do a Golden Age strip style book. Like the full broadsheet. Like,
yep.
There's no avenue to do that. There's no I don't even know how you would collect that. Like there's nothing, I don't know, but it would be really fun to do that.
And Fantagraphics can figure it out.
Yeah, totally.
And then this is great. He drags it into this part is just phenomenal. You ever meet anyone that went to one of those technical schools that they advertise on late night TV? You know, the colleges that exist in mini malls, and it's got, you know, it's obviously DeVry.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course not. You haven't met anybody. You know, anybody that goes to those places gets recruited into agencies like Empire or Waste. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. And so he goes into this place dragging the body in, and this is like basically I want to talk to my dad.
Yeah. With a little character arc where, the first line of the book is I hate my job, and the last line is I love my job.
I love my job. Yeah. Boom. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love breaking this stuff down with people who are passionate about it, because it really, really, can open people's eyes to something that if they just got it out of the blue and read it, they would have no clue and might not be looking for those things,
Yeah, totally.
But
Yeah,
you get a whole new appreciation.
Yeah, and I think there's also something to be said for, comics is such a solitary, isolated medium, which is fun because, it's a Hieronymus machine. It happens in your mind, and some people read comics, words and pictures simultaneously, words first, pictures first, whatever. And so each individual reading experience is completely different. And when you have multiple people going through a book like this page by page and pointing out things they noticed, or pointing out things that work or don't work, or talking about the behind the scenes, it just inherently, provides more context and more value, and makes it more of an exciting and engaging experience because it provides an in-joke. You're almost.
Oh, you froze there for a second.
It is pure white. First thing, top. The gray tones make Casanova the middle ground. The white and black are the foreground background, and that black background pops the CD, so it's literally the first thing you see when you look at the panel.
Yeah. Yep, some serious thought went into here. When you do your layouts, do you ever do them more than once?
Chris, I don't do layouts.
Okay. You
Sorry,
don't do
bro.
layouts, so you just grab a page and you just start going?
Yeah, my process is I do what I jokingly refer to as red lines. So I'll make the whole issue in just
red pencil.
Red tech pencil, and I'll make the whole thing, and I'll look at it and I'll see how it flows, and I'll see what the compositions are working or not working.
So that's your layout then.
It's like but it's layout at full size. Like it's like, on the pages. And then if something's not working in that whole flow, then I'll go in and I'll change that panel or move something around. But it's I don't like layouts, mostly because
I hate it too.
My ambition of what I can draw is very different than what my technical ability of what I can draw is. So I'm like, oh, this will take place in a school. And then I'll get to the school scene and I'm like, I don't want to draw that. I want to draw a cave. Let's draw a cave.
Yeah. I completely understand that. I'm like, once I don't know. I need to take my own advice, because once I lay something out, I tend to be like, okay, that's the way it is. This doesn't quite work, but fuck it. We need to keep moving forward. That's comics. Keep moving forward. Learn from it, and fix it next time, instead of pause, fix it, do it right this time. I don't know why I do that.
I'm the same way. There's some bad drawings in some of those books, and then there's some really good ones, and you just hope that the good ones balance out the bad. And yesterday I was just complaining to Nicole, my partner, and I texted her a picture of a page I was drawing, and I was like, "This page fucking sucks," and she was like, "Yeah, but that second panel's pretty good. Only need one good drawing per page." And I was like,
"Let's keep going." Yeah,
not wrong. I'm gonna keep going now.
Yeah, no, I completely get that, man. There was one time that I was kind of going for something, and when I was working on a story, one of the last stories for Spectral, that just came out, I drew it. I kind of drew a page. I got into my head that I was going to go for a very like Toth deadline minimalistic thing, just to try it, because that whole book was about me trying to do different things with every story. They're short, like 12-page stories, and it sucked. It was not good. You know why? Because I'm not Alex Toth. And so I redrew it, and I changed some things in it to make it flow better a little bit. And for whatever reason, it sat there for months as I was working on something else. And then I had to come back to it again, and I kind of drew differently by then. And so I had to redraw it again. So this is the only page that I've ever drawn 3 times.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, the final page, it's a pretty goddamn good page because I drew it 3 times.
Yeah. That third time literally was the charm.
If only we had the time in comics to not have to kick shit out the door and to be able to do stuff like that. But also then I think I would get bored and not like it anymore. You know?
I mean, I've definitely done that. The first issue of Mary Tyler Moorhawk, I think I did the first issue twice because I drew it all in pencil, then I inked 75% of it. Then I decided I didn't want to ink it, and I traced it all in pencil as the final line. And I think something like that happened with Halloween Boy too. I think the first issue of Halloween Boy, I did the first 15 pages twice because I had to I don't remember why, but there was some reason where I definitely did. There's a portfolio over there that says Halloween Boy 1, and then right on top of it says Halloween Boy 1 red line draft. So I definitely did draw that twice. Yeah.
God. Well, it'd be fascinating to find out Gabriel Ba's process on this. Maybe I'll have to try to get him on the show or whatever the hell this is called.
Look, all I'm saying, you need a co-host to interview him about Casanova. I'm right here, baby. I'm
100,000%. 100,000% you'll be on that one.
Yeah, I'm into it.
If there is one, we'll see.
I mean,
probably can make it happen.
Mr. Lonely. What is he gonna do? Say no? Of course not.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a challenge set.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is really cool, man. I'm really glad that you picked this one. It was quite a surprise to me to read it. It was not what I was expecting from a title like Casanova. I figured it'd be about the famous lover.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what this is about, really, really at all. Maybe it seeps into there some way at some point, but
I believe it is named Casanova because Matt Fraction's either best friend or close friend Hector Casanova was diagnosed with cancer around the time that they were planning this, and so he named the character after his best friend. And thankfully, Hector Casanova, my understanding, I don't know what he's like now, but has now at the time beat cancer because in the intro to the hardcover, it's dedicated to him. It says, "For my friend Hector Luis Casanova, Hector something Casanova, who when we started this book had cancer, and when we finished it did not."
Nice. That's a nice tribute.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thanks for coming on and talking about it, man. This was a really good one. And
absolutely, man. Thank you.
It's always good to talk to you. We need to hang out more, but we're cartoonists and we don't hang out with people. So
no. Why would we hang out when we can be alone and be sad?
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming on. Where people can get Halloween Boy, where?
You can get Halloween Boy on my website, heydavebaker.com. You can follow me at xdavebakerx on all the socials. And if you'd like to listen to my podcast, a Deep Dive Explainer podcast about weird or obscure topics, you can find that wherever you get podcasts under the name Deep Cuts. Yeah. Word
to the bird. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah,
as always,
thank you, Chris.
It's a pleasure, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon, where at the $3 level, I'll send you my sketchbook, The Sketch of the Masters, and at the $5 level, I'll send you the sketchbook, plus my mini stories, not Man Nor Beast, but Moss, Stench of the Sea, and The Voyeur. At the $8 level, after a year, you'll get a commission. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter in the show notes. Check out my store, where I have lots of original art. And you can also buy books like Lost Angels, a sci-fi YA adventure about a girl who has to solve a mystery in a crashed alien city. Spectral, a showcase of fear, is about a sinister puppet master who travels from town to town telling tales to children who may never sleep again. You can request a commission at any time just by contacting me. Here is a list of the upcoming conventions that I'll be at the time that this video was released. And don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the video. Again, thanks for watching.